Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Joshua Lee, founder and CEO of a Chief Engagement Officer at StandOut Authority. I like that, Chief Engagement Officer. Joshua, great seeing you and welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
Happy man, I'm amazing. I'm getting to be able to spend some time with you today, and we get to be able to talk about, being bold and everything else. So, let's do it, brother.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome. So, Joshua, you got some great following on LinkedIn and you are truly doing amazing work. But give us an overview and tell us about the inspiration behind the Standout Authority and what motivated you to start the Standout Authority?
Abby, this is my 16th company. So I've been around the block for a little bit. Some people can't always gauge my age, but when I tell them that one of my first clients 20 years ago was MySpace, it usually kind of gives it away, right? So I look back and I'll make this story quick, but when I first started out in the online advertising industry, MySpace was one of my first clients. I actually helped them design one of the first social media ads to be able to monetize their traffic that honestly a lot of social media is based off of today. After being able to go through that, working with amazing companies from Overture, Yahoo, Google, all these different companies monetizing traffic, it was amazing. It was great. I thought, right? I was doing what everyone thought, making money, monetizing over 35 billion online impressions across my own servers, doing over $1 billion in advertising. And honestly, one of the biggest things that found out was I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it for the money aspect, and outside looking in, everyone saw me as successful, right? Monetarily. That's how most of the world looks at success.
Hmm.
But I was not happy. I was in a place that I was really, honestly, almost even contemplating if I should be on this planet. And I was really blessed to be able to have an opportunity to be able to have a reset. And Stand Authority was kind of born, not initially after my reset. At first, I was going to be a guru. I had my man bun, my mala beads, my pendulum had swung. I was going to help the world, and realized really quickly I wasn't a guru, but I was forgetting my past to forge a new future. And so that's really where Stand Authority was born, was how do I actually take my past, which was online advertising, and be able to shift it from monetizing the web to humanizing the web. And that's kind of where it was. How do we actually educate, inspire, and draw people in, not sell them? How do we get them to choose to be able to work with us and be able to treat others like human beings online? And so I found a platform like LinkedIn that no one really understood how to be able to use. And the rest is history. And now I get to be able to work with, men and women. I used to read their books on how to be able to start my own companies years ago. And now we get to help them build advocates first and allow that byproduct to become clients.
Wow, that's amazing. Truly, that's I call it more like a God's intervention in a way, coming and in the right time and just pull me out of the things that could have gone completely wrong.
Oh yeah.
And I truly learned that because you know learning how to detach yourself of what you do and what you have, it's a truly a blessing. And so I think that was the right timing for you where you just really completely detach yourself from it and found this great platform. So now you're helping lots of individuals. So
Yeah.
tell us about the problem that you're solving with the standout authority.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love your LinkedIn page, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn, transforming your connections into advocates and customers you stand in the so you can stand out. So
Yeah.
give us what problem you're solving.
I mean, Abby, look, I mean, LinkedIn's been around for 20 years, right? So people forget that it's one of the oldest platforms out there. And the biggest problem that most people see with LinkedIn is either they think it's a place to be able to find a job, or it's the other place that we get spammed all day long from our connections going, hey, Abby, you ever thought about using LinkedIn to get leads, or you want to buy my shiny stuff? No one cares. And we all actually hate those aspects because what they're trying to be able to do is play a numbers game, saying maybe I can spam 1,000 people hoping to get the one sale, when in essence, all we're doing is pissing off 999 people. And I realized there had to be a better way. I grew up as an only child. So honestly, man, like relationships were gold to me, really understanding how to be able to use those because I didn't have brothers or sisters, right? I had to be able to earn those relationships. And so that was the one thing that I found with LinkedIn. How do we actually go through to be able to help people connect with other human beings? Because especially post COVID, we're looking to be able to trust. Trust is one of the biggest things that we really want to be able to see. And even now, man, AI, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, you and I could be AI right now, and everyone's watching, and they don't even know that. So they want to be able to find that trust, and that's what we're building, right? To be able to build those advocates that trust you. So we're actually how I got that title, dopamine dealer LinkedIn, was honestly, man, I started going through and treating people the way that my mother taught me how to treat other human beings. I just started doing it online. And it started with little bitty dopamine hits, building relationship that put people in a flow state to be able to allow that connection and being able to have real conversations that build relationships because relationships create opportunity, especially in every aspect of business. So that's what we do, right? We're here to be able to actually help people that are adding value to this world leverage LinkedIn if they don't understand what the power is on that platform and be able to build those high value, high end relationships that create massive opportunity in their lives and be able to build that personal brand out.
Interesting. Well, sometimes, I heavily use LinkedIn, and sometimes, I do it like towards the end of the year. I reached out to people and just wanted to connect and do this kind of conversations for like a
Yeah.
5 minutes. And some people, they just completely ignored it. Some people, they just said, "What do you want?" Straightforward, and very few people respond. Uh, so give us like what are the some common mistakes you've seen that people
Yeah.
make using the
Well,
link?
Epi, let me ask you this, brother.
Yeah,
Do you enjoy, and I guarantee you most people don't, do you enjoy cold calls or cold email? When you get that phone call and you're like, hello, and then 2 seconds you're like waiting and no one says respond. We're waiting for that auto dialer to kick in, or you get a cold email, right? Like no one really likes those things.
yeah,
And so that's where I kind of figured out we had to be able to understand first and foremost why people are online, right? And why people are posting online. I mean, you can go in and say, well, they're trying to get clients, they're trying to be able to build brand, they're trying to be able to create opportunity. But we've been conditioned over the last 20 years by these social media companies to be able to look for those little hits of dopamine all get when someone acknowledges actions that we take. And so, like, that's the biggest mistake I think most people don't pay attention to why people are online. Like, if we go in and look at it, like, what I look for on LinkedIn is did someone look at my profile? Did someone engage in my content? Or did my ideal audience post on LinkedIn? The average person on LinkedIn gets less than 1% engagement. So I want to acknowledge these actions they're taking. Hey, Happy, I saw you looked at my profile, man. I just want to reach out and say thank you. Love to be able to connect with you and find out what pushed you to look me up, right? I'm trying to start that conversation. And in a world post COVID, we now really appreciate more the things that we took for granted prior, right? The little things that we go through. Most people don't appreciate someone looking at their profile. Most people don't appreciate after they post that someone liked their post. Hey, Happy, I saw you like my recent post, man. I just want to reach out and say thank you. So one of the things that we started doing was appreciating people saying thank you, creating a stopgap in their pattern for something they take for granted on a regular basis. And so that allows us to be able to start that conversation. It's a much different way than going, hey, love to be able to get on a call. They're like, why? Because they didn't take any action. So when you acknowledge something they already did, it shifts it from cold to a warm outreach, just saying, hey, I saw you posted great content. I saw that amazing, episode, Epi, that you shared on LinkedIn with Joshua Lee. Man, really appreciate the value. Thank you so much. That pushes people to really be able to have a start a conversation. But I don't start there, brother, because going through this, what I try and be able to do is that's where most people mess up. They've got that first connection request, they connect. Then they go, hey, look at my shiny stuff. Let me look what I got. My mom always taught me when we meet someone new, just like when you and I, we jumped on this, you go, hey, are you a sneakerhead? I was like, yeah, man, that's amazing. Well, we forget to we compliment people, right? When you meet someone out and you're like, oh man, love your car, great dog, love your sneakers. That's one of those things. So on LinkedIn, what we started being able to do once we appreciate someone for taking action, they connect. Now we got to be able to acknowledge again. They've taken an action. Now I can respond. I go out and I give them an endorsement on LinkedIn. It's like giving a compliment. I can endorse you for podcasting, for marketing, whatever it might be. Most people in this world go, well, Josh, how do I actually endorse someone I don't know? The number one rule in my house with my kids, and I wish more people would actually pay attention to this in the world, is it's nice to be nice. You're giving just to give, right? So I'll go through and endorse you, and then LinkedIn does the job for me. Hey, Epi, Josh endorsed you for marketing. Do you want to say thank you? Now all of a sudden you're kind of tipping the conversation to where they're actually responding to you going, hey, Epi, thank you so much for endorsing me for marketing. You're like, hey, thank you. You're welcome, man. No problem. Now we can start a real conversation and be able to take it to the next level and understand where they're at so we can provide value. And that's kind of the process that we go through because we never do any cold outreach. It's always looking what action they take, right? Looked at my profile, engaged in my content, or posted great content on LinkedIn. Does
Nice.
that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. Sometimes like we think like we just have to go direct, but certainly like some people just don't like to have that direct
Yeah, but
outreach.
if you and I walked into, you and I walked in the room together, right? We're at a networking event or whatever it might be. And the first thing I say, hey, I'm Josh. You want to be able to sign up for my LinkedIn services? No small talk, no nothing. Like we forget that people are conversational by nature. And that's the one thing that I look for. I look for that human algorithm, right? I'm not really trying to, chase the LinkedIn or the Facebook or the Instagram algorithm because those social algorithms really change all the time because they're trying to be able to change and not let people hack or trick them, right? But that human algorithm is the one that actually doesn't shift or change. It just evolves over time. And so that's what I'm really playing to. And when we actually just treat someone like a human being, we're playing into that human algorithm and allows that instant connection and that opportunity to build that relationship. That's
Yeah.
where we play.
That's it's and how and now like how do you scale that? Well, you got to be consistent, obviously, right?
So that's the whole thing. I get everyone's like, well, how can you scale that? It's a lot of work. I go, you know what it is. On LinkedIn, though, here's the deal. I had a buddy of mine, man, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember exactly when. James, he reaches out, he goes, Josh, man, he's like, like I need your help, man. I know it's a numbers game. And I was like, dude, you're just trying to piss me off because when someone says, it's a numbers game, you're just saying you want to be able to spam people. I go, LinkedIn's not a numbers game. Like, because of all the spamming in the past, they put restrictions on us. And we only get 400 new connection requests a month. And so when you break that down, that means I get 100 connection requests a week. That means if I do it Monday through Friday, I get 20 a day. Now you're telling me that if you're actually going through this and if you're looking for high value, high end relationships, like most people we work with, they have products or services that range anywhere from 5,000 to $100,000 offers, right? So they're not selling widgets for like $5. So they don't really need 1,000 new clients. So when you're actually trying to go through that 20 new high powered, high value relationships a day, reaching out and finding people that you can really connect to is not difficult for anyone to be able to do. And I
Mm,
guarantee you, as you continue to be able to do this organically, we don't need to make $1 million. We don't have to sell a million people a dollar product. I'd rather sell 10 people $100,000 offer and build those high value, high end relationships. And that's kind of where I look at on LinkedIn. That's the process we use.
yeah, interesting. You mentioned MySpace early in the conversation.
Yeah.
In the early days, you've been working with that. Whatever happened to Tom, by the way? I don't hear much about him.
He retired. From what I understand, he's traveling the world doing, he invests in some things. But I mean, that was the one thing. Tom kind of got in there, but he was everybody's friend. But then even when I got in there, he really wasn't that active in the company. But it's always funny to be able to. I was like, hey, what happened to Tom? I'm like, honestly, he kind of went his way. They had their shot. Sometimes it's always amazing to be the first, but sometimes it's not always. I mean, you got
Yeah,
to be that second person on the scene that actually watches the first person make the moves and then make that slight 1% degree adjustment, and then you find opportunity. That's what Facebook did.
yeah. Well, I mean, the world truly changed since then. I remember I was also one of those early users in MySpace, and so it was those very early days of a social media. Whoever thought
Oh yeah.
we're now in this stage, and God knows what's coming up next. Now, these platforms obviously they kind of dominate the market. If you look at, for example, between LinkedIn and Facebook, and Facebook,
TikTok. Yeah. I mean, Yeah.
They just took over
YouTube.
and sweep the entire
Yeah.
market in the ad, with the in the advertising world. What do you think? What do you see? First of all, where do you get the trends, and second, where do you see this is going?
I'll tell you, I think everyone right now, there's so many people sleeping on LinkedIn because again, oh, well, TikTok, you can get a whole bunch of traffic for dancing around. Facebook's been around forever. It's getting expensive to be able to advertise on Facebook. And honestly, if you don't advertise organically, you're really not getting the reach anymore.
Hmm.
LinkedIn's the one platform that organically their reach is phenomenal. There's over 10 million impressions weekly on LinkedIn, but out of the billion people that are actually on the platform, only about a 4 million are actually posting on a weekly basis. So I mean, like that's a lot. I mean, you have access to I said 10 million, I said 10 billion. Sorry, 10 billion weekly impressions. So like think about that, right? 4 million people getting access to 10 billion impressions weekly organically is phenomenal. Your
Wow.
average person on that platform, man, and you're looking at average income are higher than other platforms. So, like Facebook, if you look, US $64,000 a year average income, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is around 48,000. LinkedIn's around $125,000 a year US. It's the average income. 4 out of 5 people on that platform are business decision makers. You've got an educated audience because they're not going there to be able to lose themselves in someone else's life. I don't go on LinkedIn to go, man, let me go watch Epi all day, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to YouTube for that. I'm going to go to TikTok for that, right? They go there to be able to make a decision or get information to make a decision. Now, that's just the basis of it. I've been really blessed to be able to work with LinkedIn on their beta side with where they're going with AI. And let me tell you, it is crazy because Microsoft owns LinkedIn. They bought them a couple years ago for $24.6 billion cash, largest cash purchase ever and largest return. They're actually, I think LinkedIn's almost valued at 90 billion now. So like they've really turned around and made their money back on that. And then let's be honest, I know in the EU, they're still fighting it, but and saying that, oh yeah, it happens. Microsoft owns OpenAI, AKA ChatGPT. They're trying to say they don't. EU's trying to fight them on it, but we'll see where all that goes. But because of that, man, what they're doing with LinkedIn and the partnership there, it's what Elon Musk was really doing on Twitter. He didn't care about owning a social media platform. He really cared about owning that human algorithm on there and indexing it for his next AI. And that's what they're doing right now with LinkedIn. They're using LinkedIn as the basis of their generative search when that launches, because we know that's all going to come out in about a year and a half, where how we search now being having websites listed out isn't going to be that way anymore. With AI, generative search is going to come out. And Epi, you're going to search, it's going to pull information out that you're looking specifically at off of multiple sites and give that to you the way that you read that content. And so that's what LinkedIn's doing right now. Like their indexing on Google is 100 out of 100 Moz score. So you get highly indexed on Google. And we're seeing that same thing with ChatGPT. I'm actually being able to go in there and leverage aspects of LinkedIn for our clients and be able to get them indexed and featured when you search for them on ChatGPT. And I think that's the future of search and the future of business. And that's where I think it's going.
Wow. Incredible. Things are moving so fast. It's also very difficult to catch up with all the new advancements that they're plugging in into the
You're
platform.
telling me. Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Joshua, obviously, you had 16 companies and none of them have gone anywhere without you trying and pushing and trying new things. But when you try new things, the failure is just around the corner.
Yeah.
Uh, First of all, what is your approach to failure? And second, how do you encourage risk taking?
I mean, look, fail fast, fail often. I mean, I think that's the best way to be able to do it because that's the best way for us to learn. You'll find really quickly if you're an entrepreneur or not, because an entrepreneur will fail and they'll get back up. If you let failure stop you and not change it from failure to opportunity, because every failure is an opportunity to be able to learn from that and be able to make the shift and adjustment, you probably need to be able to shift out of being owning your own business and be able to, maybe work for somebody else. Because it's not that for the faint of heart. You and I both know that. But one of the things that I look for is trends. I've been really blessed to be able to kind of see around corners where things are going, not just where they're at. I think the biggest problem with most people in this world, they're seeing what's happening now. And guess what? If it's in the public eye and the public knows about it, you've already missed the boat, right? If you're trying to be able to really monetize or find opportunity, and if your neighbor knows about it, like you're like, oh yeah, this, you've missed that there's an opportunity gap, and you've got to be able to be ahead of the curve for that. And so that's what I'm always looking for, like where things are going. I think, and that's why I put so much time, energy, and effort on LinkedIn, and really being able to go through, because we're shifting from, we already have, I mean, we've shifted from really betting on the businesses, because look, companies are around. We don't always have trust in all these major corporations. People are scared that they're taking all our information. They're trying to be able to leverage against us. They're listening to us. We always have faith in human beings, and I think that's where things are shifting, and that's what I'm looking for. How do we find the right humans that are trying to add value to this world, and how do we actually back their play? And that's it, man. I've in all my companies, I didn't, most of my companies, I found a human being that I wanted to bet on, because I'd rather bet on a human being than an idea. Ideas come and go all the time, but the right person will push it to the edge every single time. And that's what I bet on to be able to build most of my companies. Some of them were successful. I had a couple, 7-figure exits, but some just failed. I mean, honestly, before I went through my life reset about 10 years ago, I was running 10 companies, and I was at a point where I had to be able to make a decision. My life reset was going through a divorce and being able to go through those things. And I remember my lawyers go, look, this could take, a couple of years to be able to go through. And I realized at that time, and I was really blessed, this is what I want people to pay attention to. You need to be able to value your time over money.
Mm.
We can always make more money. We cannot make more time. And the best decision I ever made was to be able to say, you know what? Close it all down, liquidate it, give it to my former, and let me move forward. And at 36, I started over again with a little bit under $1,000 in my name, to be able to save that time not only for me but for my kids, and move back in with my parents and reset. And that's what put me to here today, because I realized what was more important than anything. It's money comes and goes, but the time is something that is not a resource that we ever get back.
Yeah. Yeah, the commitment to greatness, right? I always have this board in front of me all the times, like always be a better version of myself every day. And one way that I find myself to pretty much chase that is I found a trick.
Yeah, I
And
like it.
this trick, it's really amazing. It's working for me. I'm not sure how it's going to work for the rest, but basically I said, okay, well, what happens if I live to 80 years old, right?
Yeah,
And then instead of me trying to count years, what about if I count the days and how many days I have left from a day to day that to the 80 years? And that itself, it moves me because every morning I write it down how many days I have left on this planet Earth. And I'm like, my God, these days are going fast.
yeah. Oh yeah, man. No, that's Epi. That's awesome, man. I'm definitely like, and that's what I love. You're doing in the morning. I think people forget how powerful mornings are, right?
Yeah,
And I mean, how you start your day is everything, because most people start their day out with this guy, right?
yeah,
With your phone, and they set precedents that the outside world is more important than them. The first thing they wake up, they pick up their phone, they look at their Facebook, their LinkedIn, their email. Guess what? The world didn't end. The world didn't stop turning. Your business didn't blow up because you get a phone call for that. You're not going to find it on social media. And so what they do is they set precedents that outside world is more important for them, and they're always going to be playing that chasing game.
yeah,
That was one of the biggest things that I shifted, man. I was like, okay, don't touch your phone for the first couple hours in the morning. Put it back into myself, right? Meditation, working out, spending time with my kids. Like that's where it goes. And then be able to go on and be able to start my day. And you're right. You've got to be able to pay attention to what's really important and what's going on, because time goes by so fast.
yeah. It's amazing because I've done that too. So I turn off my phone. I sleep without my phone on. I don't turn it on until I'm done by being grateful to God, reading my Bible, doing that spiritual exercise first before
Yeah.
I even get to the world of emails, right? And now even sometimes when I forget my phone on, I am so well trained, I'm so well disciplined that I don't even look at the messages anymore. But before
Yeah.
that, I remember I used to wake up and I would just jump right away into my phone and see all those messages, WhatsApp and everything. And completely forgot about what my priority is in this life.
Oh yeah. It's interesting you talk about that too, because one of the things that I do when I first pick up my phone, I started this a couple years ago, and it's been pretty awesome. Have you ever made a to-do list, right? You write everything down. These are the things I want to do today.
Yeah.
People do it all the time. We're taught that. But like the problem is the value of that piece of paper doesn't change. It's still a piece of paper. So a lot of times we'll write it down. We feel good about writing it, but like it doesn't hold any value because in the long run, we hold ourselves more accountable than anyone else. And so what I started being able to do, I realized like, man, if I could just go to bed every single night feeling accomplished, I'd wake up the next day feeling so much more powerful. And because the average person in this world doesn't go to bed feeling accomplished. So I started going through when I first wake up, I do all my stuff. When I first touch my phone, about 2 to 3 hours later, I take it out and I start recording myself. And I say, Josh, today you're going to accomplish. And I start off really easy, like with 5 things. I'm going to give my kids a hug. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to, eat breakfast, whatever it is. And then I say at the end of it, Josh, congratulations on accomplishing all your goals today. And so what I do is I watch that right before I go to bed. No matter what happens, if I stub my toe, business didn't work out, I can see and hear myself using multiple senses saying congratulations and feeling that sense of accomplishment. And it's amazing how it shifted everything that I do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just came across this today. It said, be patient with others most of the time, but always be impatient with yourself.
I like it, man. I like it. That's a good quote.
So, Joshua, where do people find you, or how they can work with you? Where would they have to come to?
Epi, I mean, I want to be able to add value to everyone in this world. I mean, I'll tell you, find me, surprise, surprise, on LinkedIn. Look for me, Joshua B. Lee. And look, I share everything I do with our clients on there because I want, if you're looking to be able to truly add value, be able to change and really grow your business and your opportunities on LinkedIn, I want you to be able to have that. You want to be able to get there faster, of course, come reach out, send me a message, right? We'll be able to work together to be able to do that. But in the long run, it's all about just continuing to be able to add value to this world. And LinkedIn's the place that I do it more than any other platform.
Awesome, awesome. So, Joshua B. Lee, look out for and connect with Joshua. Last words, what does bold mean to you? A word bold.
For me, the word bold really is how I show up in this world, right? Not just for myself. And again, I get that that's where we should show up most. For me, being bold is how I show up for myself that my children see.
Mm.
And that's truly what it is because our kids, we can say all the time what you should do, what's going on, but they look at every action that we take. I've got a 15-year-old son, I've got a 12-year-old daughter, and now I just had an 8-month-old little girl as well too.
Wow,
So I'm a
congratulations.
new dad after 12 years again. And
That's exciting.
my actions speak louder than anything else. And I think that's what people don't understand. Bold means your actions speak louder than your words every single day, no matter if people are watching or you're just in the security of your own home.
And with that, congratulations. Always be bold, Joshua. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always. Cheers.